Hey everybody, I want to show you a nice cover that they have for the steering wheel for the Cybertruck. This is from our friends over at Hansshow, and if you've ever gripped your steering wheel on your older cars and you know how they flake off and you want to prevent that from happening, this is the item that you really want to get. This is the steering wheel cover from Hansshow. It has a faux carbon fiber look to it on the top, but with an authentic Alcantara cloth that is on the sides, and it helps you grip the wheel better. It feels better, and quite frankly, it makes the truck look better. So we're gonna get this installed. We're gonna show you how to put it in. It's actually real simple. Don't forget to look in the description below to see how you can get a great discount on this particular product. Like and subscribe. We'll see you back in just a moment. So what you're going to first find in the kit is a double-sided tape. What you're going to do, you're going to put it on the steering wheel. And what this is designed to do is to hold the cover down while you actually do the stitching. And quite frankly, I think it also really secures the cover just so that it doesn't slide around as well. The tape actually does provide a purpose from just keeping it from slipping while you're installing. It actually does keep the steering wheel cover from sliding while you're driving as well. So I use about 4 pieces of that double-sided tape and put it in. After you get that installed, the next thing you're going to do is take the cover and you're going to line it up with the side of the squircle. You take your trim tool and start pushing the pieces of the Alcantara behind the buttons. There's a nice gap there. It's pretty generous once you get the trim tool in there. You can actually start pushing it in. And you're going to start pushing in the sides of it. Leave a little bit of room such that you can actually stitch it later. But there's a spot on the front side and there's a spot on the back side where you're going to do this. So you're going to grab your needle and thread, and you're going to thread the needle. I made the mistake of thinking that I can make the length, just the length around the steering wheel, and that would be good enough. Turned out, I will tell you, use a minimum of triple that length. There's more than enough thread to go around this wheel a few times. You see where I measured out the length around a quarter of the steering wheel? Absolutely triple that length, because that's what you're going to need to go all the way around that stitch there. You're going to take the end of the thread, you're going to make a loop, tie it a little bit. What you're going to do, you're going to pass the needle through the back side of the strip and pass the needle underneath one of the stitches on the inside. And then you're going to circle the needle back through that little hole there that you just created and then pull it tight. That will help pull it on. I'm going to link another video in the description below so that you can see how to properly do stitching, and it really explains how to do that much better than what I possibly could. But it's basic stitching techniques. Once you do that, you're going to pass the needle back through the Alcantara. I did my best to pass it through the holes that were already there. Once you hit the right hole, it actually does pass through. I'm sorry, you don't pass it through the Alcantara. It goes through the carbon fiber here. So you pass the needle back through, and this is where you start your stitching. At this point, you're not breaking the material. You're just passing the needle underneath each stitch and going to the other side, pass it underneath that one, and then you pull that tight. Then you just pass the needle back to the front part of the wheel again, go underneath that stitch, and then go to the one on the back. I suppose you can go back and forth if you want, like a shoelace, if you will. But I personally did not like it that way. I just went from the front and just kept passing it back. You can see the wheel, once you get it done, it looks really nice. I really like the presentation of the wheel when you get it there, but it does take a little bit of doing. Remember to go back and forth on the stitches, and you're going to tie it off on the end when you get to the end. So once you get all of the stitching to the end of each segment of this squircle, you have to tie it off there and cut the thread just to make it neat, and then tuck it in both on the front side and the back side. The tucking in isn't too difficult, but I will note, when you are utilizing this method and utilizing the steering wheel cover, it doesn't really want to tuck in on the sides too well, because maybe it's just this cover, maybe it's not, but the cut is slightly off. And so what is happening is that it tends to leave a little bit of bulge where you would normally put your thumbs out on a squircle on the inside of the wheel there. Quite frankly, only the driver is going to notice Anybody looking at it's not going to notice it too tough, but once you put your hand on it, you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. That's what I had with this cover. I don't know if all covers are like that, but when it's just sitting there and after you've tucked everything in, it actually sits pretty nicely. But don't forget to tuck in the back ends on the back side of the squircle as well. This is really important. I do like this cover. It looks really nice. It feels great, and I think you're going to get a lot of use out of it. Well, there you have it. We got it in there. It's a little irregular. We did our best to get the stitching correct on there. It is tedious, make no mistake about it. But once you get it on, it looks really nice. It does enhance the aesthetics of the vehicle. I really do like it. I will make a couple of comments about how it fits. It doesn't fit exactly perfectly because of maybe this particular product or other products are not like that, but this particular one didn't quite fit perfectly, and so we had to kind of wedge it in to get it into place. At the end of the day, it looks nice and it matches the vehicle, and I'm quite happy with it. I do recommend it because over time, as you get in the truck and you have dirty hands because, well, let's face it, you're in a truck. You're gonna get your squircle really dirty and nasty, and quite frankly, it's gonna start peeling over time. If it's made of that great Tesla leather that we all are so fond of, it's gonna start peeling. This really cuts down on that. This is really gonna extend the life of your squircle, and if later on it's easier to get a cover for the wheel, more so than to get a new wheel more than anything else. So for that reason and that reason alone, I would absolutely recommend getting one of these. Doesn't matter what it looks like. The aesthetics is just a secondary part of it, which I really do enjoy because I think it goes with the truck quite nicely, and it does have a really good feel to it. And quite frankly, I think it gives me a better grip on the wheel every time I touch it. That's why you keep seeing me touch it so much. It feels good, really does. Let me know what you think about this cover in the comments below. Look in the description to see how you can get a great discount on this particular product, other Tesla accessories. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. Peace.